Hello students, I am back with the sixth part of physical and chemical changes. So in previous part I explained four questions, which was question number 1, classify the changes involved in the following processes as physical or chemical changes. Question number 2, state whether the following statements are true or false. In case a statement is false, write the correct statement in your notebook. Question number 3 was fill in the blanks. And question number 4, when baking soda is mixed with lemon juice, bubbles are formed with the evolution of a gas. What type of change is it? Explain. So I hope you understood 4 questions. Now moving to the next, let's begin question number 5. When a candle burns, both physical and chemical changes take place. Identify these changes. Give another example of a familiar process in which both the chemical and physical changes take place. So here in question only given, so when candle burns, both type of changes take place, physical and chemical. So you have to identify these changes. First, what will happen when we burn candle, it was solid in state, and after burning, wax of the candle start melting. So when solid turn into liquid, it is a physical change. Generally we see that. But paraffin present in candle wax, it will vaporize when solid wax convert into liquid. It means we cannot get back the original wax. This is also one fact. And one more thing, according to the property of chemical change, in chemical change new substances, one or more new substances are formed. So when candle burn, candle give off heat and light. Generally we don't have electricity. When electricity cut off, so we burn a candle to get light. Yes, so burning candle giving off heat and light. Therefore also we can say burning of candle is a chemical change. And one fact also there, when solid turn into liquid, that is also physical change. So what should our answer? When we burn a candle, its wax starts melting. This is a physical change. When the candle start burning, we cannot get back the original wax. This burning of candle is also accompanied by giving off heat and light. Therefore, the burning of a candle is a chemical change. Now moving to the next question, question number 6. How would you say that setting of curd is a chemical change? Setting of curd. Now you know though how your mother said curd, setting a curd. So take some pre-boiled milk. Now put 1 or 2 tablespoons curd in it. Now keep it overnight. In next morning, when you see that entire milk will turn into curd. So both properties are different. Properties of milk and properties of curd, both are different. Earlier that milk was sweet in taste, now curd is some sour in taste. Now curd is thick also. It means both property of curd and milk are different. And one more thing, when milk turn into curd, we cannot get back the original milk again. It means it is irreversible process. So we can say that setting of curd is a chemical change. So what would our answer? When a little quantity of curd is added to pre-boiled milk, after few hours, the entire milk changes into curd. The properties of curd are quite different from those of milk. Curd is sharp and thick, whereas milk is a sweet liquid. Curd is a new substance obtained from milk. The curd cannot be changed back into milk. Therefore, the setting of curd from milk is a chemical change. Now, next, question number 7. Explain why burning of wood and cutting it into small pieces are considered as two different types of changes. Here also two situations are given. First, cutting of wood, and second is burning of wood. If you cut the wood, earlier also I told you, if you cut the wood, only its shape and size will change. Its property will not change. No new substance also produced from it. But if you burn wood, new substance, it give off heat and light when you burn wood, and that when you burn wood, after some time new substance you will get, that is ash, and that is irreversible also. So here again two types of changes are there, physical and chemical change. So what would your answer? When wood is cut into small little pieces, no new substances are formed. Earlier it was wood, now also it is wood only. So when wood is cut into small little pieces, no new substances are formed. Therefore, the cutting of wood is a physical change. But when wood is burnt, carbon dioxide is formed along with the generation of heat. From the burnt wood, we cannot get back the original wood. Hence, the burning of wood is a chemical change. So again two types of change. Cutting of wood is a physical change and burning of wood is a chemical change. Moving to the next, question number 8. Describe how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. Now, one description you have to write, that how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. You know that process of crystallization. So, if you want to make a crystal of copper sulfate, what you have to do? First of all, you have to make some unsaturated solution. After that, you have to filter it, and when you cool that and cool, after some time you can see the crystals of copper sulfate are formed. Same way, when you put some salt in water and stirring for some time, and for some time if you keep untouched, so what will happen? Whatever water is present in solution, it will evaporate, and only there some crystals of salt remain there. So that is also process of crystallization. This way you have to describe how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. So your answer is, in order to make the crystals of copper sulfate, a cup full of water is poured into a beaker. Some drops of dilute sulfuric acid are also added to this water. So the water is now boiled and copper sulfate powder is slowly mixed with it by constant stirring. We go on mixing the copper sulfate powder until its dissolution stops. It means until it make unsaturated solution. So the solution is then filtered, cooled and kept undisturbed. So after some time the crystals of copper sulfate are formed. Once again I am explaining this answer. Describe how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. So in order to make the crystals of copper sulfate, a cup full of water is poured into a beaker. Some drops of dilute sulfuric acid are also added to this water. The water is now boiled and copper sulfate powder is slowly mixed with it by constant stirring. We go on mixing the copper sulfate powder until its dissolution stops. The solution is then filtered, cooled and kept undisturbed. After some time, the crystals of copper sulfate are formed. So here we completed 8 questions. Now still question 9, 10, 11 and 12. Total 4 questions still remain to explain. Hopefully these 4 questions I will explain in next video. So something new today, students. Here I am giving you one question. Now you have to find answer and you have to write this answer in comment box. Just answer only, no need to write full answer. So hopefully those who are giving correct answer, I will show their name in next videos. So your question is, what is the color of copper sulfate solution? And if you have seen previous videos properly, so easily you can get this answer. Once again I am telling this question, what is the color of copper sulfate solution? Those who know this answer, write their answer in comment box. Only answer, no need to write full answer. Hopefully those who are writing correct answer, I will show their name in next video. Till then if go through the video twice. In fact, I say go through the videos twice for better understanding and to find this answer. And with answer, if you have any doubt, any query, you can write in comment box. And still we'll meet you soon with the next with last 4 questions explanation. Till then, stay safe. Thank you.